A lot of issues happening at any time. We are here at the studios. It's all about issues that are affecting you, that are affecting us, national issues. These are what we're going to talk about, and this morning is all about the naming of the Chief Executive for Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Richard Ofori Ajimabodi is the name, and I'm sure probably maybe there are some of us that do not really know the full name. I'm sure there are some people listening to me that do, but he goes by the name Zuba. That's his nick. Honorable. He has served as municipal chief executive in Obuasi before. So coming into office, this is not the first time he'll be serving, but we'll be asking a lot of questions. Indeed, is he the man Kumasi needs? We'll be tracing our history, people that have served so far at Assembly, the Kumasi Metropolis, those that have served as chief executive so far, talking about, especially with the NDC to be precise. Kweje Bonsu coming in, somebody that people feel that in fact during his term he had transformed Kumasi, but with the problem he faced with our traditional leaders and a lot of things, we'll be talking about that. Coming in with our new municipal chief executive, hopefully honorable. If he's voted for, he becomes our chief executive. What are our expectations? We'll be digesting into it. I hope we've also not forgetting His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, is 3 months old with his NDC government in his second term in office. So far, so good. How far with you? What will be your assessment? I'm very sure with just 3 months we can't really talk about much, but I'm sure there's something we still can talk about. There are glimpses of what you've seen so far, and so we'll be discussing a bit of that too if time permits. We'll be joined later by an assemblyman from Santase. Honorable Isaac Kofi Yamoa is the name. Assembly member for Santase electoral area will be joining us right here at Old Smith this morning. With the municipal chief executives, the metropolitan district chief executives awaiting nominations. Well, here in the Ashanti region, there are other municipalities and districts where there are controversies. And one of them is the Trima Nwabeja South municipality. There are controversies and there are a lot of noise that have been made. Well, if time would allow us, we'll be speaking with the constituency secretary from the Atrimawa Beja South constituency as to why they feel that their parliamentary candidate, Wisdom Boama, is not fit enough to occupy the position as municipal chief executive. They've held a press conference, and as to why that press conference was held, if time permits, we'll be going on phone to have an extensive discussion with him why they feel, as party executives, they feel that their parliamentary candidate is not fit enough to occupy that enviable position as municipal chief executive. But this morning, let me go straight to Mr. PJ to welcome him. Time is fast spent. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boss.
Yeah. It's another wonderful Monday God have made.
Exactly.
In fact,
Exactly.
I've always said that if you wake up very strong, so energetic, with full of energy, that alone should prompt you that it is not everybody that have gotten the opportunity to. So lift up your hands to say a very big thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. How's your weekend?
Oh, it was cool. And God has been so kind. You know, as long as I'm still alive and kicking, I cannot but give thanks to God, and I'm very grateful. A lot of things do happen, of course, especially when you have life, especially when you know for certain that your family is doing well, and everybody is fine, and you have good friends around. You can talk to them, you can have fun, you can have some party. That's always good. But God, honestly, is very good. He's been good, especially to Ghana. But when you consider that you voted time and again, and yet anytime you vote, you're able to calm down the tensions at the end of the day, and you enjoy peace, relative peace, I must say. If you go to some other countries, elections end up in bitter wars, and thousands of people are killed. And that's why I always advise that as a people, you must cherish the peace that we enjoy. And you must do everything within our means to make sure that the laws are obeyed to the letter. You must do our very best to protect this whole fourth republic that we have. Because ideally, you have no other country to run to. And what is even more important to notice is when wars do occur, thousands are killed, others have to be, in fact, literally they are displaced and they flee to other countries. What if those other countries are not going to welcome you? What are you going to do? Even in your own country, you're complaining about poverty, you're complaining about hunger. And when you have to run to some other person's country where you don't know anybody, where the government does not have the mandate to look after you, or possibly to promote your interests. And so we should cherish the peace that we enjoy as a people. Of course, you can do politics, and that is always allowed. Except that you must get the politicians to even work within the confines of the law. And as political activists or political officers, politicians, you must certainly know that the law is always our guide. And that whatever we do, we must protect and preserve the peace that we enjoy as a people. And that will be something that we must all take a cue from. It's extremely important. Extremely important. Politics can divide the country. Politics can equally, if you like, patch up, amend our differences, and bring us together.
But our democracy, it's beyond 30 years, and if you clearly see the way we go, where we're able to change government, so I don't want to say easily though. It comes with some tensions.
Exactly.
But God being so good, we change. I mean, power changes hands.
Okay.
But it's like instead of us growing and maturing, it's like right now politics is dividing us. Religion is not dividing us. As this country, as we always see Muslims and Christians always together. There are other countries where you would see that division in Africa, but Ghana, well, we've gone beyond that. But it's like the politics which shouldn't is the one that is really dividing us as a nation. I mean, I'm sure this is not part of our discussion this morning, but I think we really have to look at that. What has really prompted this, and why, and what should we do as a people to ensure that we don't allow this thing to really ruin us as a country? Because these days, even brothers, sisters, friends, because of politics, you would see, even to tell the truth about an issue, they would rather want to defend their political party, their party flag, rather than Ghana, rather than themselves.
Well, technically, it is not wrong to disagree with somebody, and especially when you consider politics, the kind of politics that we have in a democracy is such that it is designed to be an adversarial system. Democracy is literally an adversarial system, and so you must have a party in charge as the ruling party. Of course, that will form the government, and then we must have the opposition parties. Of course, the major opposition party will form the shadow government, and their mandate is to check the government of the day. And so I'm personally not too bothered when people disagree, except that you must disagree, and of course you must agree to disagree. That's the point. If you disagree with somebody, it doesn't mean you should beat the person up or you should start a fight with the person. The fact is that you are expressing your opinions, and that's allowed in every democracy, because after all, you have the right to freedom of speech and expression. You have the right to speak your mind. You have the right to freedom of association. And so if somebody decides to join NDC and the other decides to join MPP, that's understandable. Except that you must always recognize the fact that the Constitution is our guide. And it's not just a guide, it's a binding principle. And so whatever you do, you must work within the confine or the ambit of the law. So that if you know for certain that Mr. A, who belongs to party A, happens to be a Ghanaian who also has fundamental rights, like you do, then it means that you are enjoined by the law to respect that person's right. And that's why you have a duty as a citizen. You have a duty as citizens to respect the rights of other persons. And so if you have that understanding, I should think that some of these tensions and problems and divisions that you're talking about will be a thing of the past. Because if you understand clearly that the democracy that we enjoy today is designed in such a way that you can speak your mind, you can disagree, and yet you must all work within the confines of the law, then there's no need to go out there and fight. I personally get bothered about the fact that a lot more people are becoming a bit aggressive, a bit unruly, and that they feel that if their party is in charge, then they can do as they please. No. If your party is in charge, you must work within the confines of the law. If your party is not in charge and your party happens to be in opposition, again, you must work within the remit of the law. And that is what you're supposed to be doing as Ghanaians. And so my advice is pretty simple. You must always recognize that in a democracy, you are talking of a constitutional government. You are talking of a majoritarian government. But this majoritarian government, as formed by the majority party, must always work within the ambit of the law. And if you have that understanding, I should think you wouldn't have a problem of people going around and beating others and fighting and disagreeing and, of course, throwing punches here and there. That is not supposed to happen in a true democracy. It appears as though we are not educated enough or informed enough to understand the basic tenets of democracy. And that is why, time and again, some philosophers will tell you, if the people are not educated enough, then democracy wouldn't work. And that seems to be our problem. That is the bane of our democracy. In fact, that is the bane of democracy across the African continent. The fact that a lot more Ghanaians, a lot more people are a bit uninformed, a bit uninformed about what democracy really constitutes. And so they feel like though once you're in charge or once you have the upper hand, you must beat all your enemies, you must silence them, you must intimidate them into silence. That is not allowed, and that is not supposed to be done in a true democracy. And so both members of MPP and NDC and all the other parties must come to this understanding that the laws of Ghana, especially the Constitution of Ghana, the 1992 Constitution, is the one supreme law that we are all obliged to respect. And that you must all do things that coincide with the law. Otherwise, the government is justified to get you arrested. The police will get you arrested. And the government, of course, is justified to get you prosecuted in the court of law and punished. But I don't know why we don't seem to have that kind of understanding. Ideally, rights are extremely important. And what we even say is this: if it happens that the majority always have their way and that they are able to disregard the basic rights of the minority, then we wouldn't be living in a democracy. It would mean that the constitutional part of democracy that guarantees the fundamental rights of the people is being disrespected. And that's why, of course, we know for certain democracy is a blend. It's a blend of constitutional rule and majoritarian rule. A blend of constitutional rule and majority rule. And so the two must always balance out. Otherwise, if you allow the people to dominate, especially the majority, the NDC that is in charge today, if you allow the officials or the members of NDC to dominate everything and dictate everything and ignore the law, it will mean that the basic right of the minority will be disrespected. And that is not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
Well, this is something we really have to really make time and also deal
Exactly.
with. But this morning is all about Kumasi.
Okay.
Yeah, our very own Kumasi, the Kumasi metropolis, as we are in.
Okay.
We always need development, and so as an assembly, last Friday, His Excellency the President nominated a man by name Honorable Richard Ofori Ajiman Bwedi. In fact, a typical Asante name, a true indigent. His popularity is known well, though. I mean, the whole of Ghana. We chant his name, Zuba, popularly as is always known, and I'm sure this name is very common with a lot of us that are well versed in the political arena. He has served as chief executive for Boasi before.
Wow.
From 2013 up to 2017 when the NDC left office. Okay, and he was parliamentary candidate on the ticket of the NDC. Yes, in that same constituency where he served as municipal chief executive. And so, definitely, all right. Please, we have on phone. As I said earlier, we're speaking is all about our development. And so everything about development is about first we are heading towards the Atrima Nwabieja South municipality. We'll be talking about KMA. Yes, we'll be doing that. But before that, Atrima Nwabieja South municipality, there are stories that the NDC, that is the National Democratic Congress, the executives had held a press conference agitating that their parliamentary candidate, Wisdom Boama, is they don't see him to be fit to occupy the position as the municipal chief executives, and so they were pleading with national executives of the National Democratic Congress to ensure that they have presented some two people they feel can occupy that position. So we want to find out. I've got on phone the NDC constituency secretary for the Atrima Nwabieja South municipality. He goes by the name Mr. Godfred Gbetigo. I hope I've gotten the name right. Definitely. And so we'll be finding out from him this morning, in fact, what has really called for their press conference as to reasons why they feel that Mr. Wisdom, Honorable Wisdom, who advised as Member of Parliament on the ticket of the NDC, is not really the right man to occupy that position, and they feel that it should rather go somewhere else. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
And yourself?
I'm fine. I'm fine. In fact, I'm doing very, very well.
God for his mercy.
Mr. Gbetigo, right?
And please, the name is Gbetigo.
Gbetigo.
Yes, please.
All right. Honorable.
Yes, sir.
Last week, there was a press conference held by the party executives in the Atrima Nwabieja South constituency, making claims that the parliamentary candidate on the ticket of the NDC, the man that vied as parliamentary candidate on the ticket of the NDC, they feel would not be fit enough to occupy the position as municipal chief executives. Please, I would want you to elaborate on reasons why this whole press conference was held, and as to why the executives feel that somebody that had vied as member of parliament, people feel that, okay, if he has been able to vie for such an enviable position, then definitely he can occupy that position. So what are your reasons behind the press conference as to reasons why you are opposing to the parliamentary candidate nomination as municipal chief executive?
All right. Thank you very much, sir. In the first place, let me seize the opportunity to greet your listeners, and then my party hierarchy, from the presidency to national and then to region, and all my constituency NDC members. All right. We heard a press conference, as you said, last week, and then we are rejecting the nomination of Wisdom Boama to not be considered to be MC for a whole lot of reasons. But in the first place, we didn't jump the conclusion to organize the press conference. What we did was that initially we presented a petition to the regional level and to the national level, and it was acknowledged by them. They received it. So we were expecting that in the first place, the said honorable member Wisdom Boama should not be even shortlisted to the final three to the national for him to be considered to be MC. Fine. But we were also told and then encouraged that we should campaign vigorously so that if the party comes to power, in the selection of DC or MCs, the party hierarchy, that's the constituency executives, will be consulted. as to who should be considered to be a member, the MCA. But in this case, after sending our petition, we didn't hear from our leaders. So we are just doing one simple thing, that let's organize a press conference. Maybe those who received the petition have not forwarded to the appropriate authorities. So let's organize a press conference so that maybe our leaders can hear from us. Yes, we are rejecting his candidature because he's not a unifier. 2, he was aiming to become MP and then lead the constituency executives together with National. Together we can judge and then make sure that we get the rightful candidates for us. But what happened? Just recently, the said Wisdom Osebo has disguised himself as MC appointed by his uncle. The uncle being the person of our national chairman, Honorable Esedun Nketia, John Esedun Nketia. And we know that Esedun Nketia, in person that we have worked with in so many years, he will not do that. He's very principled. He's a lawyer person. He's very disciplined and credible. So this person claiming that his uncle has given him that position, we seem it not to be right for him to tarnish the image of our national chairman, because that he is not the appointing authority. Though he may have a say, but he is not the appointing authority. 2, just after the elections, the Wisdom Osebo organized some tax and went to the district assembly and locked it up, together with my chairman, Chairman Abu Sadiq, and then command, district police command. We have to intervene to make sure that the workers at the assembly will be able to have access to the facility to go and do their normal daily activities. As I speak, supposing that his name is being mentioned, that he should go to the assembly and go and work, or being the MC, granted. The same people you went and attacked them, locked them up, how would they be able to work with you cordially? 3, Wisdom Osebo came to the party office. He came to the party office and he invoked cares and deities on us, constituency executives, regional executives, national executives. That
Ultimate FM.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did not mention his name. A whole lot of ravers, Antoine, and all the deities in his hometown to kill all the national executives. So, in fact, whom are you going to rule? So, because of your selfish interest, you want to kill all of us in the constituency and from national to the constituency. Wisdom Osebo also intimidated branch executives, threatened to kill them. To some extent, sent his tax to one of the branch women organizer in Menchia, to attack her in her house. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So such a character cannot be a leader.
All right.
Or a person to be MC in this instance.
All right.
So these are some of the things that we consider that fine. Also, he is not in good terms with all the executives. So somebody will say, so we have 28 executives. So it's not one person, it's not just reasonable enough that Wisdom Osebo will be able to move it. He did his own campaign separately.
You said he went to lock up the entire assembly.
Yes,
as to, I would want to find out what really prompted that decision, because it is a government assist. We run government business.
Just after the election, what prompted his action was that, according to him, that his uncle, our national chairman, Esedun Nketia, Honorable, has told him that he will be the MC. So immediately after the declaration of the election in favor of the NDC, he went out there to lock it, because he is going to take over, and he's taking over immediately, which I think it was not fair, and it was going to tarnish the image of the party. So we went there together with my chairman. Then we met the divisional commander. Then we have to resolve all these things so that the party image can be at least protected. Do you understand?
You have mentioned that he had made claims that he has strong affiliations and family ties with your national chairman, the Honorable Esinu Nketia, but I would really want to find out from you, how has he, I mean, his alleged strong connection with the national chairman, have you verified to find out if indeed his claims are real, and how true that is? Has there been any verification from your end?
I initially told you we sent a petition. It was in our petition. You understand? And then we didn't hear from our executives. So now the person was going around throwing parties, pouring powders on him that his uncle has said this to him. So fine. We try our best by sending the petition. We didn't hear from our chairman. Do you understand? So the other way we can go about it is to organize a press conference. So if our national chairman, indeed our able chairman, we trust him, he's very credible. If he can hear from us, then we are saying that we are saving his image. We know that he has never told him anything like that. But just that the guy is trying to perpetrate something against him, which in the long run may affect him. But we don't want that to happen to him. You understand?
Yes, please. But what has really warranted the disconnection between the party executives and the parliamentary candidates? Because you were supposed to work together as a team. And
yes, you see, I've already mentioned some actions of him. He's indisciplined. He's not law abiding. Then this is governed by constitution. After elections, you cannot claim that after elections you were anticipating that some people of your side who came to contest in the constituency elections, because they lost, you are going to form another para executive. One side, we are going to work with them, but not with the party executive. Let me tell you, when the party, we were campaigning vigorously, I can tell you that Wisdom Osebama, even when there is funds for us, so that we can utilize the funds in the interest of the party together, he will tell us that no, we should make sure that we share it, so that he will take his portion and we will take our portion. And we didn't campaign together. Let me tell you, on record, the regional organizer, Honorable Isham Alasan, he came to the constituency to support us for 3 days campaign during the campaign season. When he came, Wisdom Osebama refused to join us because he told even the the regional organizer that because he's not ready to work with us, he has his own executive, he can't join the campaign. So on the second day, he has to be summoned by the regional organizer that what are you doing? I'm here to campaign for you in the interest of yourself and the party. You are the candidate. But Wisdom Osebama will only show up in the 3rd day. Do you understand? So you can even find out from the regional organizer.
In your earlier submission, you said that his name was not submitted as part of those whom in fact,
he did not submit his nomination to the constituency, but he sent it to the region. And the region constituency didn't receive his nomination. Do you understand? So those that receive their nomination are the candidates that we perceive, and we know they've come to us that they have the interest to become MCs in the constituency. So for him, we don't know him. But as to where he managed to get his form submitted, it's up to him.
So, Honorable, I want to find out who are the 2 candidates you presented, and why do you feel that these two people?
We wish the authorities, the appointed authorities, to consider Peter Boache and then Honorable Derek Owusu Boateng, because they are credible, they are faithful, they are team players.
Mr. Derek Owusu Boateng, parliamentary candidate on the ticket of the NDC 2020, right?
Yes. 2020, right. And then the research officer for 2024 election.
All right.
And this calling is not a calling of we the executives, but these are from the grassroots, our branches. They are crying. It's not my personal interest, not the interest of we the executives. It is the interest of the constituency at large.
Well, thank you for speaking with us, and it's been lovely talking to you. I'm sure a lot have been heard and your plight have been poured out. We've been speaking with the NDC constituency secretary for Achima Nwabieja South, and I'm sure we've really had a very wonderful, extensive discussion. I can see Mr. Peje wants to talk much about this. We are talking about KMA, but well, this is also part of it. So, Mr. Peje,
well, we seem to have
these tensions are always bound to happen. It's good. I mean, just as people's interests are coming in and everything.
And we seem to have established this tradition that if you contest as a member of parliament and you lose, then if your party happens to win an election, you are likely to be the candidate for the MC or the DC. But that is just a tradition. It is not law. The law is that the president has the power to appoint somebody to head the assembly. And so when you have that appointing, that power of appointment, then you get to decide who is going to be the MC. Except that, of course, you are running a party and you want your party to have that kind of unity. You certainly will have to consult some people within the party, within the constituency. So that's understandable. So I clearly agree with the secretary you talked to, the fact that they submitted names. Except that you can submit 10 names, or you can even submit just one name. The president will pick somebody else.
Yeah, they said they submitted 2 names.
It doesn't matter. The fact still remains that the president has the power to appoint somebody. But I'm saying that seems to be the tradition that has been established, that once you contest as a member of parliament and lose, then if your party wins the election, they will give you the post of the MC. But the point is this: the president's power to appoint, and that's something that we must always take into consideration. The president's power to appoint ministers, MCs, and all that comes with an implicit duty, an implicit obligation that he must appoint somebody who is competent enough for the post. If you're going to contest for the post of a member of parliament, you don't necessarily have requirement. The only requirement is that you must be a Ghanaian, and of course you must be of a certain age. That's it. There's no educational requirement.
But purely we must understand that that job is purely administrative work in the first place. And purely it needs
a competent person.
Yes.
If you're going to be an expert, of course. If you're going to be the MC, it's not an elective position, it's an appointed position. And so it is incumbent on the president who's going to appoint the MC or the DC or the mayor to pick someone who is competent enough, qualified enough, informed enough for the job. And so that is where, I would say the president has the leeway to decide who is fit for the job. But at the same time, because you are leading a party, if I want to pick somebody who is more or less a favorite of the people, but such a favorite must be a competent, qualified person. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. And I should think that it is high time they talk to these officials in the constituency. If they talk to them, I'm sure they can come to a compromise. And obviously, even if they're going to settle on wisdom, Buama or somebody else, at least they'll have a headway. But they should talk to them, of course. And resolve things.
I come from that constituency, and
okay.
Yes, the fact is, if you look at, for me, honestly, okay, I feel that just as you said, they should rather come to sit and really talk.
Exactly,
because it is not always the same as to have parliamentary candidates being members of parliament. In 2008, my senior housemaster back then was parliamentary candidate on a ticket of the NDC in the constituency, but he wasn't given that nod.
Exactly, it's not automatic that you must be given that. He wasn't given the
nod as district chief executive. It was given to another person. He later became the managing director for health insurance in the constituency. So you should clearly see that is not automatically the thing. But I think that it's hard time they sit and really deal with the situation, because I mean it's an old municipality. It got a municipal status just in 2017.
Okay.
And so as young as it is as a municipality, though an old district it is, I think we should really sit down to really ensure that development do not elude us.
And one thing is also that we have only listened to one side of the story. It's entirely possible that Mr. Mbuama will also have his own version. And so and we hear both sides. It would be a bit difficult to settle on one thing. Let's say judge.
The man they mentioned, he was parliamentary candidate on the ticket of the NDC in the constituency in 2020, just as I said earlier. And so Well, as to reasons why, because I'm sure there are few executives in the party that feels that wisdom should also go.
Ultimate FM.
Though just that a chunk of them feels that no, they wouldn't really want to have years. But I mean, it has always been like that. That's how it is. I mean, when things like this come. But this one in our discussion is a KMA. That is where we are this morning. And just as I said earlier, the man who have been nominated to head the great KMA Metropolitan Assembly as mayor. Yes, as mayor. Mr. Honorable Richard Ofori-Agyeman Boadi, he has occupied such a position, though not in KMA, but he had occupied that position in Obuasi before. I was giving you an autobiography of how his political the whole political nature of how he started and everything about himself, vying as member of parliament in 2012 in the constituency, and later became member of parliament and later became municipal chief executive. Yes, and so this time he's coming in as member of parliament for KMA. But we all know the history of especially with the NDC, Kwadwo Bonsu, the situation. I mean, we all saw him encounter a lot of challenges. For me, I always say that he's one of the best mayors Kumasi have ever had. Talking about the Ratri Park, talking about the KGT markets, talking about, I mean, their edifice you could see. I mean, and so he could take some bold decisions, you see. That is my personal opinion. Anybody can just challenge me on that or attack me on that. But as we all know, the setting in which we are, the challenges, Kumasi market women, a lot of problems as well, dealing with thieves and everything. We are going to pick everything just bit by bit to look into it. Everything about what is indeed we should expect. Okay, let's take out Zuba as a person. Okay, what kind of chief executive or mayor does Kumasi need presently? When you look at the Kumasi as we are in now, let's not forget, initially, Kwadaso, Tafo, Subin, Menchia North, Menchia South, Swami, Asokwa, Ofori Krum, there were almost about 10 sub-metros under KMA. Very big. But right now, Ofori Krum, Swami, Asokwa, Tafo, and Kwadaso are all municipalities on its own. So they are out of KMA. And so you would have just some few numbers as sub-metros to deal with. That's Menchia North, Menchia South, and other sub-metros under it. Talking about Subin, Bantama. Yes. So KMA would have a lesser number to deal with. But the challenges, what kind of chief executive do Kumasi proper the main Kumasi need?
We need somebody who is a radical person, but of course competent. Radical. But you're dealing with people who are going to disobey the laws. You're dealing with people who are going to literally hijack the road and sell on the road.
If radicality will be an appropriate
not radical as in somebody who is a bit a bit extremist, a bit of an extremist, but radical in the sense that he's able to take action, decisive action, and stand his ground. Otherwise, he's going to be compelled to backpedal on so many things. But when you're dealing with people, and especially when you're dealing with people within the city of Kumasi, you must be a bit tough. You must be a bit forthright. You must be able to take actions and stand by your actions, stand your grounds. Otherwise, like I said before, you are almost always going to be compelled to rescind your decisions. If, for instance, you want to decongest the streets of Kumasi, you will come up certainly against so many challenges, so many roadblocks or setbacks on the way. But it takes a smart person, a competent person, and more importantly, a tough person to make a headway. Because ideally, people will challenge you, people will oppose you, people will certainly organize series of demonstrations against you.
Yeah.
If you look at what's happened over the years, anytime any mayor tries to decongest the street of Kumasi, they almost always stop along the line. I wouldn't say almost, they always stop along the line. Because time and again, you will come up against some problems and people will tell you plainly, if you don't stop, you're going to destroy the fortunes of the party in the next election.
Yeah.
And so if election becomes the motivation, then of course you're not going to do anything about it. But we can't live in a city where the streets, the roads are literally hijacked by sellers, by people who are selling. And they display their wares anywhere. And pedestrians are literally forced to walk on the road, challenging the cars on the road, if you like. And that is precisely something that must be dealt with. If you consider what happened at Ofurukru, people were selling literally on the street, on the road. When an accident occurred, guess what has happened? They have literally driven all of them away. Are you going to wait till something terrible happens? If you remember what happened at Swami some time ago, the car literally ran over so many people. That is when we come to the conclusion that, look, we need to drive them away. But that would be too late. Lives would have been lost. And so I'm saying that you must take a decisive action as a people. If you go to Sunyani, for instance, I've not been to Sunyani many times, but at least I've been there a few times.
Yeah.
The streets are literally clean.
Yes.
Ultimate
Nobody's allowed to sit just by the roadside and sell.
Yes.
Anyhow.
We don't have.
So if they can do that in
shops,
Kumasi,
yes.
in Sunyani, we can also do that in Kumasi. Of course, you can argue that, well, in Kumasi you have so many people, the population is big. That's fine. London has a much bigger population. New York has a much bigger population. So when you make that argument, is not really convincing enough. That, look, you have so many people around, the city is congested. That's something that, of course, you're not going to deny. But the fact is that we can't live in a city where the streets are literally hijacked by sellers. And that is why you must have satellite markets across the country, sorry, across the city. When you don't have satellite markets and everything is centered at the Doom, then obviously everybody will be trooping down there. And that is the problem. So as a people, we must have a grandstand, a plan to decongest the principal street of Kumasi, to decongest Edum, especially the business hub of Kumasi. That's one thing that the mayor will have to take upon himself. But I won't warn him ahead of time. It's going to be a very Herculean task. Members in his own party may come up and tell him, look, you can't do this. Already we have a bad name.
It is something that is always happening. Yeah.
Exactly. And somebody will tell you plainly, look, we have a bad name in the region. So why are you going to even destroy our name?
But don't you think that should rather motivate him enough to rather take drastic decisions? Because he knows that, I mean, the region in which I find myself, or probably maybe Kumasi Metropolis, they don't vote for me. Okay. You know very well that people from Subin will never vote for the NDC. The Subin constituency will never be a seat for the NDC. All right, Bantama will never be for.
That's the
NDC.
more reason why you be very cautious.
So
decongesting the streets.
you should stand out
But
to take that drastic decision, because the word radicality I don't want, but you let me just use it. The man I know, he's very firm. Okay. And so I think
firm and fair.
Okay. He can look you in the face and tell you point blank. But as to whether his own party people can go against them to say that this is what we want to do for Kumasi to develop.
And the very point you make, the point that NDC will never win a seat in, say, Subin and some other parts of Kumasi,
Which is part of
that
Kumasi.
alone is proof enough that the work is going to be a lot more difficult.
Really?
Well, of course, you know for certain that the region doesn't vote for you. And you need more votes in the Ashanti region. They've made it abundantly clear that if they get about, say, 20% or more than 20%, then they win the election. So that would mean that time and again you must do things that will rather increase your votes. But if you're going to engage in decongest the streets, and you know for certain that's going to drain all your votes in the next election, then you're going to be demotivated to start in the first place.
But
So there's going to be that hurdle that he must cross. But it's going to be a very big one, of course, a very tall one. It's an uphill battle if you really want to decongest the streets.
Mr. Pede, let's be realistic here.
But that is what we need.
Let's be very frank with ourselves.
Okay.
Do we always
Ultimate FM.
have to reason as to that's with a politician. Every 4 years I'm going to win elections. But if you are given this mandate to lead, because it is not everybody that gets the opportunity.
Okay.
There are almost about a lot of NDC members, but you get that opportunity to transform Kumasi, okay? And you feel that I have to do to please my party. not considering Ghana, not considering Asantuma, not considering Kumasi, don't you think it is something detrimental that really, because it's like time and time again, we always say that, oh, the MPP wins a lot of votes here, and so when it comes to taking drastic decisions, they may not be able to take that bold step to do that. But with the NDC that we feel that would not win much of the they don't vote here, we feel that they can take that bold step. Any decongestion,
but they also need more votes. They want to increase their votes. That's the point. It's come back to the same thing. Look, what do you consider what happened in the 2020 election? When Akufo-Addo first took over in 2017, what he decided to do was to put a blanket ban on mining. I mean, there was a ban on it. So for some time, for over a year or so, people were not allowed to mine. Even those that had lands, they had problems. And then, of course, in the 2020 election, he lost miserably. NPP lost miserably in the mining communities. So the question then will be, are the people that we are trying to help not even interested in the help? The people who are trying to protect their environment, their community, where the mining is really being done, when we know for certain that the water bodies are being destroyed and the land is being destroyed, you have land degradation. Don't they really want the water bodies to be cleaned up? And yet they voted against the party, which means in effect you're going to think twice. And that's how come after 2020, Akufo-Addo literally ignored everything. And when we were demonstrating before the election, you were demonstrating before 2024.
But abandoning everything made you lose the elections.
That is the problem. That's also a part of the problem. But it is difficult to even determine who you're really serving. It appears as though the people don't even know what they want. If you ask the average person in Kumasi, they will tell you, look, the streets are always hijacked. You must decongest the streets. But among the same people, some of us will tell you, look, if you do that, you have no food to eat. So that's a problem. That's why I made a point earlier that, look, you must have some satellite markets. But I'll tell you what, if people go to some satellite market that's a bit far away from the center, and they know for certain that people don't buy that much from that end, they are coming back. They will come back to Edu. And so it's a big problem. But the point is this, as a people, we seem to have allowed, and I always say this, we seem to have allowed, quote unquote, the uninformed to hijack everything. That's what we seem to have done. If you go to the university campuses and even secondary school campuses, let's speak university campus, go to Tech, for instance. The campus is clean.
It's like it's a different world from the main city.
Exactly.
I always wonder and ask myself, you barely see something.
You can't drop rubbish on the floor, on the ground. Even the uneducated who are on campus, they will tell you you can do it, and they won't do it. I remember when I was at Tech, one guy dropped a piece of paper on the ground. It took somebody who is uneducated to warn him that you're a student, you're supposed to know better. And so this is something that happens on campus. And yet, when we come out as the leaders of the community, then we allow, quote unquote, the uninformed to dictate the pace.
Even come out of,
That's the point. So how is it possible that it can be done within the university setting? And yet, in the bigger city, we can do it. That is precisely because those who have hijacked the streets are the very people who are dictating the pace. And so it's a very big problem. In fact, if you read the history of Kumasi, you are told that when Honorable Kwesi Agyeman was in charge as the mayor, he was able to do that kind of decongestion.
Discipline.
There was discipline, and people obeyed the laws. He was a hardliner. He was a radical person, and nobody could literally compel him to backpedal.
At the time, politics had not really decayed into our system like this, and so political power was not something that people craved for that much.
You know how I measure good leaders or leaders who are good? Simple. If the institution that they built while they were in office survive after their departure, then of course they are good leaders.
Okay.
If the institutions collapse right after their departure, if they become moribund institutions right after their departure, then I'm simply going to conclude that they were not good, or that the performance was not that good. We are told that Honorable Kwesi Agyeman was able to do decongestion, and that I'm told, and that we've all heard about it, that he was a hardliner. He did a very good job. Granted, he did a lot of things that are so good. But the point is this, when you really want to change the system, you start with changing the thinking of the people. When you get the people to internalize the principles, what's going to happen is that because they've internalized the principles and they understand the principles and they live by such principles, even when the leader is not there, even when the leader leaves the scene, they will still go by the rules. When you train your children, you hope and pray that the children will learn the rules so that even in your absence, they will still apply the rules. They will still respect the rules in the house. If it happens that the only time the children respect the rules is when you, the parent, You. It's only when you the parent, you are around. That means, in effect, your children are not learning the rules. And that is why internalizing the rules, imbibing the rules is extremely important. Because once you learn and understand them, and you live by them, they become part and parcel of you. So that in the absence of the leader, you still obey the rules. And so if you really read about the past mayors that we have had, the fact that the decongestion was done under one particular leader, and yet the people came back to the street just after the leader left office, proves that the people did not really internalize the principle that, look, the streets must be clean. The streets must be left for the cars and the pedestrians. They didn't learn that. They didn't internalize that. And that is the problem. So we must get the people well informed, well educated enough to understand right from the outset that there is something that we must do to clean our city up. So that even when a particular building is on fire, the fire service guys will have the chance to get there. Time and again, we blame them. And I personally feel that we rather blame them too much. They are not supposed to be blamed for certain things. If you're going to quench the fire that gutted Blue Light, for instance, where are you going to? Where are you going to pass? Is there any way to get in there quickly? When literally the rules are hijacked, you can go there. You must be a lot more careful. In fact, I was once at the Doom and I was very much shocked. Just at the foot of the foot bridge that connects the Doom to Roman Hill. I never knew that there's a road down there that cars can park. Cars can run along, plow along that road. There was a road down there. A car was coming and they had to everybody has to walk away. And those who were sitting there selling, they all have to get up and move aside for the car to run along. That is what happens in our country. And so it is a very big job, a very big problem that the mayor is going to face.
Well,
but my point is pretty simple. It must be firm and fair. But more importantly, it must be radical enough, bold enough to take decisive actions and not backpedal, because pressures will come. People will mount pressure on him, and of course, you have to backpedal. But the simple measurement of a good leader is when the leader has finally left office, the institution that he built that was there, whilst he was there, have the institutions survived after him? If they collapse or they degenerate into moribund institutions, then you can't say it was that good. You can say that.
We've been joined by Honorable Kofi Yamwa. But you didn't mean correct.
I'm patching no.
You didn't know. Yeah, Kumasi Mpuntu.
Okay.
Me sure say Santase a part of KMA,
Yeah.
which you know. In the end, you didn't come. You nyina your wafa your papa. You nua bema. You didn't do na dinim no ye Zuba. And His Excellency President Abuni did say, and then just recently MPP assuming office or CSB and a sometimes will be tried to na kwadwo oshedie yenya Zuba oba na ye papa ka say ye obi anani edene ye obi anani edene because ohwa niam bi wo ho a e wo say ye ya kuma say ya anvani edin amfamu a ne ye ne be edene na ye bisa say wa wo hwa ohwe Zuba. Do you think say Jumedi no betimi ade because me dey na me ka say ye nyina nim say this into abama kuma ze mind into abama this intinka ye probi obetimi atake say bold decisions no ama ya ka say kuma se pese ye neat no dey to krobi ti say wokosunwane a ene ye ka ne say o mi kwa me ka say population e wosunwane bi na wa ha. But even with population, you know, can say even at that we can still do it. Inti ye probi obetimi ama kuma se esi ne dada mu bi mu a who say Zuba betimi adi dwuma so nkoso ana.
Okay. Your open with the medical chair. No match our chief when na match Santa Asman so. O Madaroma and do to me a share and say in fee and I see me do watch my Santa na no cre Zuba you be a yin I say a tete nka ama oko boasen so you do oko
Jumadi okodi
we are hoping say send otie no say wan say no say de become nko ade a KM adwuma na be simple crowd dey amano yeah
who is say simple sir
oh say on say empenfo say de why be then gina twene no ano why be or boase or musa say or boase and soon say kumase but it seems say or experience nekakra and paying for it or no my sugar and on which say so in this case no why you more boase it be a normal back community be a course or boase no or no baho bet me the out to home inti so what me I be inquire me assure say KM Edman
intia memfa sampine any o say be nche da mem kese ni se omo no nyina enim se MPP aban ene de omo bae ye kumase ni MPP de enveni agro we nya de eze edisi na ye hwe kwadwo bonsu amani obehu kese pa yenka no krenje ho mo assembly members yi na mo mu bi ka ho
okay
ndi no de mbese mbisa ne se zuba e bi di djuma na wo ka se wanya experience ni bi da no na o pese odi kan ka bi because onyi ntumza assembly members no mo ka ho bi na
on say senior empanyfo say oye be ma we ba ye kunja ene emfani ha ne so applications mafi ene obi be empanyfo je ono yere be da yesi ya tie enwumlo ko na na yere be da unkanjiro so o ba no ene o so hu say KM ye board ho ye as members ye ne ye bonti so ba na ba yon say oye autocratic uye superior president abodi nti any esa de ne
engineer ni da ho say sometimes assembly members no hu ni say brandy we will need a party mundi
no
because you kind of say assembly elections no enka ye nko no
partisan
but
yeah.
Mimi no me no jitum say abana ye tunu krom ha no ye vote based on party lines
ye kind of ha me you be edin party bu e ba power free soldiers and papa no musi KM yo mayo ni ntimi nya adwuma
o mo party grade young
ye ko ho nche ya tin kumo bebre mayo bu ho a okwa no pa 6 no akwa akosan osimiko meeting so obesa aba officer ani bia be 7 PM ni bi oba be ye 1 to be no sa ko ntimi de ni say free soldiers no be man kwan amana ya adwuma de a no problem but say it seems say ya ban na power nti ebi ti say ye to abehwe no ma na yekoso kakra ne akwaje toilet ne akwajiwe ni nyina ye bad
ya de Ghana high
yeah so nti say ye be man kwan amana na adwuma zubu obi an ni asem be ni nyina ne say adwuma ni nyina awofom nti enye boapa yese obi no obi say senior say yes mimi agent of development henji se ko ba sa
santas ho na betre no
bet se wo ba na se woni ye betene ye dia yense no betene be se wo ba na ye wa adwen se wo de sa autocratic ne ba de ne
me beze me call Mr. PG ho but asetene ye o ne mo betena ne ebi ni de because ye nim say wo hu say o hwe men kan ko for ya we je she clearly you could see say ade pa e ma eja ne trek se pa ye se na ye se ekwan ni demu aka betimi afa ho ene ye se o sisi ana e ho na hye no enge de ma sa aban na nkasa be create space aye ama ho aye kama but jumfo yesu se da bi yemfa mo o ma mimi no mi enu so nim se e bia ye san de ma wo ma wan hwe ya ye be san kofo for containers abesisi ba bia san si kwan bi oh enti to please kumase man no din ye papa enye easy
senior on say me ntwa wa no antamantu de esi enfo na esi
o man esi
so what is good
for
the yeah
it's good for the ganja
sir ena enye se bia eye boapa ya na se no be ye nyina no o man ni ye na ye pe ni nyina ne se woni edwadifo entenas on a round table ye nipa se regional minister we adisi ye fire service for hydrant ana SCC nyina na say Facebook me say say omo ye ho adwuma omo biebie ni nyina so a omo ye good nti ene ma ne ntena se ne eno mo nka say ena it seems say e shema ne tirim say saban ne je be ya ye wi a e ba akudi nkofu we ne say saa na ati bi abaso a saa na e ma no susuru
ha say ade na e de ana hwa enza medi e
very good ne nyina yenim nti eno so ka ho na asa ma ma na yes
what's the man can do no kwasem because the trust say believes there adumede no be san be woman chain no
very good
a problem but mesa ba ho na ya beka problems are ya weti zuba oti kumase santase problems be na ho what you say kumase proper edum problems be na ho denyame problems be na ho ye be boboso ubejinam also ye agent of development nti wa wo hwa problem be niam be potee e wo kwan mu e wo school education roads everything wa wo hwa niam be pa na efesi kumase a e wo se mfie mienu mfie nine na zuba benya e wo so odidi djuma but coming back to you
okay
all right okay so let me find out one big problem that his ex Kwadwo Bonsu had was with our traditional people. You can't do away with tradition. The typical Kumasi in which we are, we respect tradition.
Exactly.
it is something we can't do away with. It is just, it's part of us. You must respect our kings, our chiefs and elders, our rulers. How do you expect Zuba to handle that? Because it's very a big complication and a problem.
Exactly. And I should think that because he's been an MC before, at least he has dealt with some chiefs already. Bossing. He has an understanding, a fair understanding of what must be done. You must, quote unquote, please them. Otherwise you're in trouble. And if we pick Kumasi in particular, I don't know for certain, but I'm tempted to believe that because of the status of Otumfu, he is literally the patron, more or less, the life patron of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. It may not be in the law, but the fact is that because of his status, because of how big he is and the kind of power that he wields, literally he becomes a de facto kind of patron of KMA. And so if you happen to be the mayor, it is only in your interest that you talk to them, of course. It's only in your interest, of course, that you talk to them, especially when you want the president to even retain you. Of course, we seem to have built a tradition for ourselves that in every 8 years, power change hands. But suppose that's a trend. It would mean that if you are Zuba, you're hoping that you're going to stay there for, say, 4 years. And if you are lucky enough and a party is re-elected, then of course you can go for another 4 years. That would be 8 years. And that would mean big money for you, of course. And so if that's the kind of portfolio that you're looking for, the kind of chance you're looking for, then you must talk to the chiefs, talk to the king, talk to the people who matter, especially within the region. And especially when we talk of tradition. If you don't respect the traditions, you're going to be in trouble right from the outset.
There are a lot of people you must also please as well.
Exactly.
I mean, there are a lot of hands you should. I mean, looking at the tension that arises from traditional issues, if you don't deal with that really very well, I mean, I think you face a lot of problems because we don't really deal with that.
And that's why you must get the right people in place. Look, if you're going to be the mayor of a host, like Kumasi in particular, you must learn about all the dynamics. When you're going to deal with the politicians, you're going to deal with, my brother was talking earlier about food soldiers, you're going to deal with them.
Yes.
Come what may, they will come to your office. They will certainly come around.
Yes, there's something I've seen.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's common with all the assemblies.
Okay.
KME, Kwadaso. You see people, they are not policemen, but they allow drivers to stand at a place where they need not to stand, load, then they take money.
Exactly.
And they come in with sometimes T-shirt from the municipal assembly, boldly written, Kwadaso Municipal Assembly, Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. I mean, and they do that with, I always ask myself, you are not police people. Why would we have such people on our roads frustrating our drivers?
I wouldn't say frustrating our drivers. Maybe they're trying to bring some order because ideally the police are supposed to be in charge.
So
but
if
it
you are in
happens.
charge to bring order, then the person parks at a place where he needs not to park. Just
Where is the car
prompt
park?
the person.
Do you have
That
any car?
move. But you don't charge the person, take money, make it an illegality, something which is seen as an illegality, but you take money and allow the person to stand there. No.
That I agree, that is wrong. But the question is, where is the car park in Kumasi? Where is the bus terminal? If you're really going, if you happen to be a driver and you drive from say Bekwai all the way to Kumasi, where are you going to park?
Where are you
as a
going to
driver?
park? Well,
We used to have a bus terminal, Keditia. And of course now it has been turned into a market.
yes,
And so it appears as though we like more of buying and selling.
the business.
But we don't. Of course, driving is also a business. But the point is that when you do the shopping, where are you going to pick the car from? Long ago, when you came to Kejitia, you could pick a car from Kejitia to any part of Kumasi. Sorry, literally any part of Ghana. But today, where are you going to pick the car from? And so the drivers literally have no place to the Portland Coordinating Director or the District Coordinating Director. You must have a minimum of master's degree.
Yes, that is
From the
purely
university.
civil service.
Exactly. And that's the point I'm coming to.
FM.
Minimum of master's degree. That aside, you must have work experience of not less than 10 years
Yes.
in managerial positions.
Yes.
You are talking of somebody who has A, the qualification, the educational qualification. B, he has the professional training. C, he has the managerial skills because he's been there for that long and he knows how the work is done. If all of a sudden you bring in somebody else who happens to be the MC, the mayor, or the DC who has the final say, and yet he's not qualified enough, and yet his educational level is pretty low. Maybe that's a first degree holder or diploma holder, or in times past we had even secondary school leavers. Then the confidence that this mayor or this MC will have alone is already punctured to start with.
Yeah.
It's undermined. So once he gets to the office, he's going to feel that kind of inferiority complex because the people are going to
So
order
having
around.
confidence in people that are around
Exactly.
him would be very
Very difficult because the civil servants out there, they are graduates, they are master's degree holders, and they're going to order them
He's
around.
definitely going to surround himself with his party people.
Exactly the point.
Yeah.
And that's where the food traders will matter because you need the food traders to come around and always protect you.
Yeah.
Literally, protect you. And that is the problem. That is the bane of our country. You must pick people who are competent enough, well educated enough, informed enough, and of course, people who are fair minded. For a good number of people, once you're doing you may have a personal problem with the person, but the fact is that when you come to the workplace, you're dealing with professional business. So your private life should not necessarily interfere or intrude into your professional life. And that's what you're supposed to be doing. Let's pick competent people with the right qualifications. So that when they get to the office, they wouldn't have inferiority complex. And they wouldn't feel this, they wouldn't have this idea of siege mentality, as though everybody around wants to attack them because they are better qualified.
Yeah. Honorable.
Yes, sir.
Na me di kan bisa say me di kan bisa say o be ka enioma Zuba o be fisi. Problem be na hu no Kumasi a hu say we dear within 4 years as me within 3 years within 2 years as me so sign ben niema ben potty problem be na hu say Zuba o be fisi o Kumasi.
Okay, yo. Eye ka problems ne de. Maminyi ye assembly members no infrim. Ye de yenye problem kula ma no kura. Sene mbi kan say empanyfo say so pese wo so a sebse kafra. Kwasia no ma na aduane bebre.
Yes, okay, mama misa asem anza na mrefi. Yes, kanokro muji sika anza na mato abana.
Okay.
Okwa so
Say
ka onya meso no
saa asɛm ne deɛ so obi ka saa deɛ
Ɛmfa
ya
wada.
oh there be so obi ka saa ya me ne nya adwen senior
Only ni nya adwen sa mo nyi sika na anza na mato abana because but who's nkofo bebre ka say oh ebi kura ka say muji sika ebu ho a on say abana yetimi to first one where miti you know
yeah
na mato second one wanza miti no masa to third one anza na one jini sika mprensa and I was there
so ka
kanokre
obi gi obi sika say
sana Matthew me person will prove it me say no kra na
me ba cho me ba hey ultimate for mama lord fair me anam de make sika buy
say am opportunity so say kwa
yeah se mi wie na aka se o minia o ko jks ka me magi bibu o eye wo na wo se menye so se bia se me ba o ka jo se senior sa election a ye ko de me ju say ansan ma akoto aba ma ode a
ɛna yɛ bɔne
ye bone ye sub metro ye koto aba na me government appointee me wo ho na nipa na okoko election ofre honorable we de unia eno 200 cities eno send man ye to aba nu e we nya me da wa ahomache be 4 eno ofre me
ɔbɛgye ne sika
I say the way ni nche na me say adai what you na say boss na sa aba no nya bi minji usika o 4 o'clock na me send ni sika man back because ma ufie se me misika wo na wo say je ena me je ye ene akoto aba na say atu ye wunya bi enti so wonya bi dia ho na to ma enti obi anyi obi sika wo na because obi a je fa faka
honorable enti sika no so a enti no yɛmfa ne sɛ mete de nyame ha sei de nyame to KMA office edum no 3 cities 50 pesos na be mame 500,000 sɛ me mfa ka wa odie yɛnka no
sɛ no wo na ade ma me o sɛ me charge wo de a anke different o na wo say minia je fafa ka akọ enti one two nim say from Santazo to KMA 6 cities then fan just say offer drop in color 50 cedi and 30 cedi na aka say menye say envelope brown enya white color brown na me fan kwa anu de meje be say me ba wo say minia aba ya kwa akoto de meji wi say de na me na meji wisika be say wo de ma me de a ene de me minji bibia mfuro eye wo na wo say menye
mo yesa so amo hayo na je say bia mo nyi nipa e bi odim
the American own tiase
as me ya madwen se chenchen am di sika
the sika ne de nya obi na agi o
omo na de brem
enipa na say je fafa ka
mate
ana say GSA se me kwa no say minia ye kwoto aba me giu say ana say me be say nyina ye giu say dia different e ono e na wakare no do me boto mi say nti gine fafa ka ana say bia giwe na ye dia
nti coming back to your common and need about say assembly members in there Zuba any problem with you people
only problem
name development na Kumasi Mpuntu DNA
here you was stored project be brave it seems say ye to aba we ye PM am obi atwo ne stored project e wo ne electoral area de by it me dey me can say nyankopon bo na confirm ni wi a stored project e wo bia no o me because ebu ha na dey ama contractor na emiti na eyi no ebu okra na on try say the mawa 21 days one ko site a gifru nsem you be breeze aho inti me dey am kan say so ba sa project na aka oho ni nyina onhwe na onye e na sanitation so ade a ha ya adwen serious into oba onfa Nancy form
sanitation no problem bang ankasa na ohwa ama sebi Kumasi anangeze garden city nenzo say film na yesa
ini nyina ye yesuban
because meaning say your waste department okay
yeah
every assembly will waste department and get what say omujume die ni say film ankasa on bi hujuma
sampan bae no or the Horace we say bi bananka ni trimpa or the bae no good senka we na Kumasi no omo de dustbin bi si ho say onum nsu a yo de betum ukuta pipa yo de betum but it seems say education no anko
mete say amanfo so o mu nwura free fie de betu za nwura za abo
ye wonkofo bi a edu mu gina ho e kire na say sika na o say ba no ne ma ena mu jae enti sa dustbins no odada enti nka zuban suba onu so betime de adwenfufuro bi aba e wo sa side no anke betime abo apa
enti nka fie ne de obetime adi ho dwuma amaye
simple because sampa edi kan lay foundation you know and one is on so ba ono so de ne de kakra kakra baby anko ye no ono behwe no aye ni ena rule of law kumasi embra ne yemfa nya adwuma yemfa mra ne nya adwuma so de ne nasi forma enu betimi aboa pa
embra be na ahwe ankrofo be na o maso odin ahwe abra ye ni so bi enkomo na yedi
enkofo ne nyina ya so odin
Ultimate FM.
I hear maame mo a omoton enoma o KTA ya
no na ye kan se
ye man temu ya ni nyina abakwen okwa akoka no okwa akoka na ya asem foforo enti ni nyina ne se ode ne na besi fom no ne
held yesterday at the Kumau NDC party office. Purportedly in reaction to an alleged tribal statement. In the said video, it is being alleged that Dr. Kwabena Duffuor has made tribal comments suggesting that he will not allow Ed Nodna to become the district chief executive DCE for Kumeru District Assembly. These claims were featured in a video circulating on the social media which shows a group purportedly representing Northerners in the Kumeru constituency at a press conference. For the record, he is not involved in any process leading to the nomination of the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives, MMDCs. 2. The Kumeru constituency is dear to his heart and has contributed immensely to its development over the years. Recently, he procured a plot of land through the current constituency executive for the construction of a befitting party office. 3. He has a great respect and admiration for all ethnic groups in Ghana. Many of his close confidants in both politics and social life are Northerners. 4. He categorically denied ever making any tribal comments, either publicly or privately, as alleged. He will be the last person to denigrate any group of people, especially those who have stood with him and supported him throughout his political and professional journey. Well, this morning, there's allegations made against an astute, respected, responsible man, the former finance minister. In fact, we need to clear the air. And so I have on phone Mr. Isaac Otu, and we'll be having a conversation to really find out if indeed this statement, everything about it. Good morning, Mr. Otu. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, you're right here on Ultimate 106.9. It's Cup of Tea right here on Ultimate 106.9. My name is Ronaldo Sepoko, and this morning we've chanced on a press statement. We've chanced on a press statement, and it's all about some claims that the former finance minister had made claims that he wouldn't allow a Nodna to be named as DCE, and so would want a clarification of indeed the videos that is circulating. Let us know what is really going on.
Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to your cherished listeners and the whole nation. With the video that was circulating, over the weekend, we got note of that video on social media, and some friends and colleagues from the constituency also relayed same videos to us. So, hello? Yes, please. Am I on air? Okay. So as I was saying, we laid claims to those videos and we decided to dig deep into it. And what we have gathered is that a group in the Kumawu constituency who label themselves as Nordness in the Kumawu constituency were making some false allegations pertaining to Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, the former finance minister, making some sweeping allegations as to him wouldn't allow any Northerner to be DCE. So we had to come out to put out the facts as we knew and as it is. In the first place, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor is not involved in any process leading to the issuance of list or whatever nominees for DCEs, not in Kumawu, not in Ghana. Even though he's a senior member of the NDC, but he is not involved in that process. Secondly, most of the associates and the close confidants of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor are Nordness. We know him politically, his social life, his business life. His name is the most important thing to him. And such allegations cannot even be labeled against him if you know him personally. So he took exceptions to that. And for that to be clear, we had to issue this statement to inform the whole nation that Dr. Kwabena Duffuor is not involved in any process leading to selection of DCEs. Secondly, he has not made any comments pertaining to him trying to block any person's chances of becoming DCE in Kumawu. So the group and whatever pressure they were issuing and whatever actions they are taking, we have seen that it's a sort of character assassination. The goodwill of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor is clear for anyone in this country, and it is evidence. The man is not involved in anything, and he will never even make such comments. We have ordered us to give a 7-day ultimatum for anybody who has any sort of evidence to come out publicly, not even privately to him, publicly, to let it be known to Ghanaians that this is the evidence that we base on to make the allegations that we heard or overheard or whatever that the man has made that comment. So if the 7 days elapse, he is likely to take to advise his legal team to take legal action.
Why do you think such allegations would come up? I mean, against such a respected man like Dr. Kwabena Duffuor, as we all know him.
Okay, in the first place, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor hails from Kumawu. Secondly, when it comes to NDC, you cannot get a figure like Dr. Kwabena Duffuor or beyond Kwabena Duffuor in Kumawu. So anything about politics and anything relating to NDC politics, when it comes to Kumawu, you can, in a way, affiliate it to him. But not such comments and such negative demeanor issues that you can link directly to the man. He is involved. He is a native of Kumawu, and development of Kumawu is in the soft spot of his heart. So anybody wanting to talk about Kumawu and relating it to NDC politics and stuff, he is a name that when you mention, it speaks volumes in Kumawu. So those group of people, that name with negativity, legally the man will proceed to court. If nothing changes, what he made aware to us yesterday before we issued the communique, if they don't come out to provide their evidence, then the man will advise his legal team to take it on.
All right. It's been nice talking to you. And just as you said earlier, the air have been cleared. And I am sure even that everyday ultimatum may not come up. They are really going to come out clear. But the man we know, the kind of name he has built for himself, and the respect and recognition he has given himself, we know very well that would never in any way involve himself in such. Thank you for speaking with us this morning, and it's been lovely speaking with you. Hopefully we'll cross over some other time and speak with you some other time. Thank you for joining us on Ultimate this morning. Thank you. Bye bye.
I'm grateful, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Mr. PJ.
You see, we live in a funny world, honestly. And
this municipal and district chief executive thing, and
we live in a funny world. But one thing I want to say is this: I want to pick Dr. Dufour, for instance, a former finance minister, a learned man, competent man. Obviously, he's a big man in the party, and such a big man has clout, a lot of clout.
Yes.
Literally, he becomes a power broker in the party. And so, for some persons who may not even know him personally, as long as they know this man is a big man, and if you attach something to him, you may get a chance. They may go around telling people, look, that is what the man says. And so it's entirely possible somebody probably could be doing that. But on his blind side.
Why do we find delight in tarnishing people's
That is why I said we live in a funny world. We live in a funny world. It appears as though once you want to champion your political interest, you can decide to denigrate anybody at all, dent people's image. But like he said, this image that you have built over the years. You can't simply wake up just one day and start tarnishing people's image, denting their reputation. That's not fair. That's not acceptable at all, especially in a democracy. You can't do that. And so, of course, they have every right to go to court and get persons prosecuted or punished. But I would advise that if you want to pursue a particular cause, use legal means. You can't possibly destroy somebody's reputation all because you want to enhance your own chance of getting some appointment here and there. That's not fair. Ideally, when people are going for such positions, there will be problems here and there. People, of course, they'll be jostling for such a position. But it doesn't mean you should take that liberty to destroy somebody's image and do as you please.
Though we are talking about Kumasi proper, but the ethnicity in our politics. Oh, he is not part of us. It's like we are taking our competence and always channeling our arguments on the fact that, oh, he's not part of us. He's from a different. I mean, how do we deal with this ethnic canker that is also eating up in our politics?
And we give a clear definition of who is part of us and who is not part of us, you're always going to have this problem. Look,
because we are all Ghanaians.
Exactly. And the point is this: when you leave, suppose somebody is from one other part of the country, maybe from the northern part, and he has lived in this community for 5 straight years, 10 straight years. By law, he qualifies to contest to become a member of parliament.
Sometimes they are even born here, raised here, but...
And so that is the kind of understanding that you must have, that even the law says, when you have stayed in a particular place for 5 straight years, even if you are not from there, as long as you've been there for 5 straight years, you can identify with the people. And then, of course, you can represent them even in the parliament. And so, of course, such a person can equally be appointed as the MC. Except that I always say that if you want to pick somebody as the MC, the mayor or whatever, this assembly, this chief executive, the person must be a competent person. He must have the right qualifications. He must have the managerial skills. He must know how to talk to people. He must have some interpersonal relations. Otherwise, he's going to mess up. And like I said before, when you pick somebody who is not competent enough for the job, right from the outset, you have this inferiority complex. And that's where the problem will start from. If you pick one philosopher called Thomas Homer Dixon, he happens to be a philosopher he's a Canadian. Thomas Homer Dixon. He says, there's always what we call the ingenuity gap. There's a gap between the problem you're supposed to solve and our ability to solve the problem. But what is even more worrying is that those who are not better informed cannot solve the problem. So this idea of a gap between the problem you have to solve and then your skill to solve it is widened among those who are not dedicated. It's widened among those who are not informed. It's huge among those who are not competent. And that's why it's incumbent on us to pick those who are competent enough for the job. And so this whole idea of tribal talk should be discarded. We should be talking about competence and the right persons. Those who are fit for the job, not square pegs and round holes. And of course, discard this whole idea of tribal. Anyway.
Honorable, na obo boni ma we expect Zuba so be yen sanitation. Kromo ni ahu ni die. I hope they manya correct. Ahu ni die say I know die nkan ntem so die. Say there ozi ka say there are dustbins around. Me mom dey say that means no ga me hu bio. We are sure say e wo ho.
Yeah. Akesi.
Because you nam kroma dey say ya ima ya dey say bag me na you do via ya to achne. Ebi ho. Okay. You use sanitation if you are ntem so. E dey na ofi say Zuba betimi asan ya ka ho bio. E mo boso ntem na.
Yeah, na me ka rule of law no.
Ah, ya mra nya eduma.
Say ma eduma.
Enu mum dey ampa.
E na ade the big chat one say on say KMA yo 5 MPs. Only MPs in Kamu. There's a saying say after election no campaign.
Indeed. Ishia so MP.
Emre bi meti bi bu
so be MP.
A baby say MC bi ni MP. Gidi sa even though the common fan cry no na MP ni enya access. MP bi MC bi ba ya ansana oba wa menenya nti e wo se ya to abawi ye nyina kronu mpuntu Ghana mpuntu ne ye nti me de meka chen se so ba ye nya abone din de enya MPP enya NDC asem oye Ghana ni omra me asante me adwuma omra me Ghana adwuma na kuma se mfa ne ntuma pe
na enkofo so se wa wo hwe a medical bisa ya papa so unim say aha ya we obi kan na se mozu yi efufuo ni ekotoko firi ho a MPP na ho mebwa anya me na me kan asate se mi watida
ende pa
me there me wo huge dispute on sasem na ye kan because e bia me mpefufu and e bia me mpekotoko but they are fan sase ye kan sa na ye MPP na din hini wo yemu ye nto aba ma NDC no NDC shas ye so okasa ko ye nim demonstrations ankrofo bi ye wo krom ha etia party bi na eno so ohun ni say be problem e dey Mazuba because ngofo tag na say NDC aban na was nti say ade even ade kra bi e be feel say e be kra na e che say e be tete bi na me bi say the assembly members mo ye sure say mo betimi na ye ma mon tete nti no knowing very well say environment na you find yourself no how quite be so ni betimi na ye
there's a saying say no one was born to be a thief but
and maybe na man
environment on say a higher MPP stronger than the
Ubi and Dimin
dispute. But regional minister by with the wa can occur. Chairman Sabu now,
yes, Ubi Penas.
Very good.
the style of way I go about.
Inti was say King Zuba Nyankopon one oba onto regional minister line bi because he say no na say after election no campaign. Ena say full soldiers in there obi ntimi nkasa mema no mo nche be it seems say oma o sarando on with enoma bebre on say your baby o ha wo kwa baby a okobia your nipa say omudi wachi
aye
so inti say minim say so oba na so to regional minister we ni bia problem bia no because ye nyina Kumasi mpuncho ni Asantuma mpuncho na yepe.
And you know, not just say he should toe the line of regional minister, Dr. Frank Amako.
Yeah. Also, a passia. So, and you can't say, so quest idea, BBN.
Now, Messa bound, Jamie. But, Mr. PJ, let's be honest with ourselves. If Zuba should come and take these bold decisions, the decongestion, I'll do it. I mean, I'll transform Kumasi. We all know it's going to affect his party, as you said earlier. And everything about it, the effect it will come on. Because even if he has a good start, his own party members will come, hey, we'll vote against us. The 30% we had, we are not going to get again. How should he go about these things?
Maybe you start with the easy ones. Easy one. Start with sanitation, like my brother said. Once you start with sanitation, everybody agrees with you. Everybody agrees with you, of course. If, like he said, people go around dumping rubbish. In fact, when there's a heavy downpour,
because it's like
people bring the rubbish in their rooms, in their houses, and drop them in the gutters.
Yes, to go through.
With the thinking that the running water, of course, will carry them away.
Yes.
And eventually they will end up in somebody else's house or behind somebody else's house. But we don't think about that. We seem to have developed this understanding that, well, you can do as you please, and whatever sticks into somebody else sticks into a tree. Like we say in our country. What sticks into another person doesn't necessarily stick into a tree. It sticks into a human being. And so you must have this understanding that, well, we must clean our city. Like I said earlier, if you go to Sunyame, how is it possible they're able to clean the city? How is it possible they're able to get people off the streets? And they have some order, some order on the streets. We can do same in Kumasi. The argument about population is big, the population is high, there are so many people in Kumasi. Granted, that is the case. But like I said before, when you go to London, when you go to New York, their population is far bigger.
But when we start taking these decisions, and it comes back to hunters,
but
our party,
who doesn't want the city?
The party that brought you to power.
Okay.
We brought you to power. And you are doing things against our own party.
Remember what I've forgotten this regional minister from Accra, Kweti.
Yeah.
Honorable Kweti. When he started this whole idea of decongesting Accra, and he was doing a number of things. People were hailing him. Eventually he stopped.
Yeah.
He stopped. He stopped because a lot more people in the party will tell you you're going to hurt the party's fortunes in the elections. It appears as though our party comes first. The country ideally should come first. The city.
The patriotism is not there.
It's not there. That's because we become so partisan. But sanitation is something that concerns everybody. In fact, we live in the 21st century where in the capital city, you can have an outbreak of cholera. It really bothers me a lot. How is that possible? In the capital city. And you know this is transmitted through filth, death. And it happens in our capital city. It happens across Ghana. We are living in the 21st century, and people are getting sick. And what the sickness you're talking about, cholera. So that is something that we must really work out. I want to pick what happened at Blue Light, the fire that gutted the entire place. Look, they are sitting on railway lines, and they're arguing that we should allow them, stay there and sell again, possibly build their own stores over there on a railway line. When did that become a portion? A plot of land for somebody? It's a public land. It's supposed to be for the country. But of course, we don't have the rail lines running again. So literally been hijacked.
Do you see that the NDC is going to give Zuba the free hands to work?
It's going to be a bit of a problem. He's always going to face problems. But or at least you can distinguish yourself in one particular field. If it's not possible for you to decongest the entire place, do sanitation, do something that of course will leave a mark. But the people must know you for who you are, and they must see that you're doing something positive for them. Sanitation must be tackled right from the outset, but it hurts everybody. If you go to Sofa Line, when I was coming along, I saw it. I want to go to Sofa Line today. The median, the traffic island that separates the two lanes. People dump rubbish on the median. On the median, they do that today. When you go to Adesso, earlier it was not happening, but today in Adesso, right from Zongo Junction down to the market, people are dumping rubbish just by the roadside. They are dumping it there. And some time ago, I was running to Tech, and we went through Asqua. When you get to Asqua interchange, just before you get to the interchange, the median, of course, we have green grass right there. The median, we had some cattle grazing on the median.
Wow.
In the middle of the city. When I saw it, I was so shocked. How's that possible?
Everything is possible in Kumasi.
Exactly. So you have cattle running around, cows running around in the middle of the city, eating grass in the middle of the city, on the median.
And nothing is done.
Nothing is done.
Wow.
If you can allow these things to happen, then it means in effect you are not running a city. And I particularly get worried when we have so much filth in our city. The dustbins must be provided all over the places so that at least people can see them and drop rubbish in them. You are making the work of the janitors, the cleaners so difficult.
Difficult, yeah.
You have a dustbin and somebody will drop the rubbish right beside it, with a view that well the one who's supposed to clean will come around and clean it. And when we gather rubbish at the wrong places, then we ask them to come back and clean them, and then we pay them. Aren't we wasting time? Aren't we wasting money? We are.
Mr. PJ, I initially asked Honorable about cashing in. It's their season, their cocoa season. And he boldly told me that as for them, they don't make demands.
Okay.
It is the person who will be voted for. He comes to say, oh, take this for transport or take this for water. What's your opinion on that one? Because we all know, like, people outside know that something happens. To the extent that even in the previous government, there was a member, a municipal chief executive who was summoned by the special prosecutor for making claims that he paid money.
You wanted the money back.
He paid money and that he wanted his money back because they didn't vote for him. So he wanted his money back. The special prosecutor summoned this man. Yet, Honorable is saying that
Well. It's a bit complicated, to be honest. And to some extent, I agree with him. If somebody is going to, if the assemblymen they have to gather and of course vote to pick. In fact, not to pick, to decide whether it should be confirmed or not confirmed. And he decides that the MC to be, or the would-be MC, or the mayor decides, well, because you're going to travel from your place of abode to the municipal assembly or the Vetofederal assembly, you must be giving some transportation. That to some extent is understandable.
Then I will give you the same question I asked Honorable. That I live here at Denyame. From Denyame to KME office. Okay,
that means
it's 5 cities.
So
5 cities.
He has to go around doing all the calculations.
Okay.
No.
5 cities.
Let's be realistic.
So
here.
if I am, it's not even up to 5 cities, but let me just make it outrageous. 5 cities from Denyame here to KME. Okay. And you tell me you are giving me 1,000 cities as transport.
The point. I understand what you say, but the point I'm making is this. That's why I said it has two sides. On the one hand, I will agree with the Honorable to some extent, because if somebody is giving you that money, then ordinarily you have the option to either accept it or reject it. It's not a crime to take money. No. It's not a crime to take money from somebody. If somebody decides to give you a gift, it's not a crime. Except that you are talking of a gift that can more or less influence your action.
Yes.
That's where the problem lies.
The amount involved.
That's where the problem lies. But the Honorable, so to speak, cannot go around calculating all the transportation fares from each of the
let's assume
so it's going to be a round figure.
From 8.
It's only going to be a round
figure. You will eat from 8. Breakfast, lunch.
Okay.
Okay. At least 200 cities wouldn't be bad. But some. Hey.
If he has more and he wants to give more, why not? They will accept it. But the point is that it has the probability or the tendency to influence people's actions. There are some members of the assemblymen that ordinarily wouldn't vote for him, but because
of the money,
they will vote for him. So on that score, it will mean that it is more or less changing the actions. The actions. That's possible. That's a possibility. There are others who tell you to take the money. It could change some people's mind.
I drain a be a no nka to mano.
Yeah, Jenny say any pan say any paba when you walk to
but if you anka to mano. Yes or no, but anka to mano. A nipa ba ko de ba e bia nka won to mano. Internet is sika na de ma on to Mrs. Sanwadin.
Oh, David.
No, it would be a bit unfair for Honorable to alone to be speaking to that issue because he's one man. So he can speak for himself.
Yeah.
But he cannot speak for all the others.
Yes.
Now I'm saying that of course some people may be inclined to vote for the would-be mayor because he has given them money. Others may say, look, even if you give us money, for me I'm voting my conscience.
Yes.
And so one person cannot speak for the entire people, of course. They are different people.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that ideally, on the one hand, it will not be entirely wrong for the assemblyman to accept the money from him because he's offering it. And like you said, he's just one person, so he said yes or no vote. He votes yes, he becomes the mayor. If you don't vote yes, of course, that would go again. But if, on the other hand, it influences your action, if ordinarily you wouldn't vote for him, but for the money, you decide to vote for him, then it would mean that he's giving of the money. He's giving you money. I mean, he giving you money is more or less the influencing factor, and that becomes a bit of a problem. But ideally, when the person in question is competent enough for the job, then even the money factor doesn't become too much of a problem because if he's competent enough and is the right candidate for the job, then whether he gives you money or not, you should vote for him. So that even if he gives you the money, it becomes even a motivation for you to vote and vote for him in the election. But ordinarily, you must understand that it amounts to some sort of vote buying.
But Mr. Pedro, you know very well that if the man doesn't pay,
if he doesn't pay anything at all, they will still vote. Except that he might lose.
He will lose. Not that.
Oh, no.
He will.
You can't say that categorically.
If he doesn't pay
anything at all, it's entirely possible he might lose. It's entirely possible he might win. Because if he doesn't pay anything at all, it's still your job to go and vote. It's not incumbent on him to necessarily give you money before you vote. If he decides not to give you any money at all, he must still win. It's possible. Of course, you could win or you could lose. Except that once you lose for the first time, maybe second time you change his mind and come and pay. But you cannot entirely fault the assemblyman.
Realistic.
You're realistic. Young kind of cringe.
KM, your assembly members, year 40.
Okay.
A binding so on in name government appointees 20.
Okay, so 60.
I no, young fan say a binding a do maba.
Almost to a banny.
Yeah, almost to be. If all things being equal, not the year can CBS Casim Beba, government appointee for Umbeji no money. If all things being equal, why wouldn't you buy a binding than a banoculan? Oh, my baby.
Honestly, already.
Very good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Into any government appointee in a call, Mayor no say, Chama, Mammy say, I
be set. More na yatu abaye you mo 40 na amabano. O tu ya money the own to be nkase o ja o more.
Very good. Enti say asan members na yem fan say okope ibu ono ade no nya na appointees no akiri.
Enti the person o jitum preko pese sika no de enyam na mokoje ni bo mo na de brem.
Me say Zuba yebo ni din Friday on Fremeda. Ne huni pe bi am frame but your platform so me share the flyers me ne nkasa da because minim say
monkwem monkwem be
oh de say yan kwan de mu ye de dada em papa na kan wasi o ko so no kula be tonam
enche ye beko na mbezem biza say decongestion de bia yaka ho asem anzo ya de e wo se ye makuma sete but abambia ndimi nye MPPO NDC obi ndimi nye yaka sanitation ho asem decongestion so se de be makuma se ada ho
yeah
kwan be so na onfa so zuba na
ma wo se asanteman nyina ye tenase ni hu se de ye no empenfo je so obo to abona utan inti was say yankasa yet because Saturday we there on say it may be say mayor no pay no anka obeye but ensa kese bi free sro se na mo ken ono de ni trimpo ne se obeye be wo ye na ne afro oba ba be ye betu ati aye energize ena ibi kula na party baby kula ati baby ye koye ya o nansen ya KM she night collection ase omo sha ase no mo jaye na ase afedo ye say be ye ho adwuma se na mo baby na obi frame honorable KM fo no mo gigi egita nwuma na asa abaso mba be sha ase ayeje honorable no mo nkase na so maame eye ade efiri so ho na eba me de be de matimi a stop no into one say saadi we dey edin but say the congestion ho asem ne dey ebi ada hofro because say ebi agise bi one empanyifo na omo sha ase ni nyina akasa emi nyina cha say ye fasi sa anye sa pa de na yise bi a kururu anankasa de no hojim
yes I bed
yes I bed
o kanu kre no
yes I bed
well
yes I bed
it's been wonderful right here this morning. Always having good time with Mr. Philip Apj, and we're joined by Isaac Kofi Iyamwa right here at the studios of Worldsmith. He is an honorable member representing the people of Santasi as the assembly member, and he joined us for this extensive discussion. We pray and hope that Kumasi develops and to ensure that our whole region develop as well. We're going for a commercial break. When we come back, the discussion still continues.
Mfie aduanan ba kunie ena Kumawuman Rural Bank agina ne naso atoto ankrankre ene akuakuo sika ama eniji abafie yenjumadi ahodo bi etese savings account, current account, golden susu account ene mebadache account eyen hyehyɛ ahodo a yedi gu akwan mu ama wusika sem agina brane wohia posia de edi jumadi fra Kumawuman Rural Bank every say ye wo susu loan, business loans, import loans, group loans osumi adwumayefo nso so ye wo salary loans a yede beboa wo ebraso se wusika sem gina yie eno nti hwehwe ye kira kwan e wo bom so ahensan amakom asafo kejetia tafo alaba ene ajakoja ache ye san so wo afigya ase Kumawu banko bodomase ene brobon so ye pese ye te woninti e ya afre yen e wo 0501340083 ana 0202028337 Kumawuman Rural Bank, the listening bank.
Sacrum, are you ready? Easter party in the park.
Abusia FM and Ultimate FM in partnership with AQ3 Center presents the Easter Party in the Park.
Yeah!
Music, games, swimming, fun, family time out,
Allah!
and a movie in the park with artists passing through.
Allah! Monday, 21st April 2025 at AQ3 Center, Diamond Hills, a few meters from Oshimase Kwadasi Kumasi. Just type AQ3 Center on your Google map and follow through to the location to have fun.
Yeah, then Chamoso, Kwadaso, Esiabua, Bantama, Patase, Dechamso.
Remember, this will be the only family jamboree that gives you the youthful vibe. There's something for everyone.
Come on, join the fun squad. Come on, everybody, join the fun.
Allah!
Only 30 Ghana cities with attractive packages for schools, families, and groups.
Call 0244-862-154 for your packages and sponsorships now.
Proudly brought to you by Ultimate 106.9 FM, Ebusia 96.5 FM, in partnership with AQ3 Center, with support from GH1 TV and Ago TV.
Easter party in the park, AQ3 Center, Apeke
Allah!
Hi there. Your mornings just got better with us right here on Ultimate Brunch and Lunch on your dial 106.9 Ultimate FM. I'm your host, Sarah Briffobat. Call me SB, and I've got a great lineup for you on the show. Between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Mondays to Wednesdays and 12:30 to 2 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays. Send us your song request and let's bomba from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. Connect with us on our socials on Facebook at Ultimate 106.9 FM, X at Ultimate 106.9 FM. Reach out to us on 0533 873 730. Link up with your girl at official_SB on TikTok. It's _Sarah Briffle on Instagram and Sarah Briffle on Facebook. Here is the place to be. Let's get this party started.
Now we'll get on in there. I know your size.
Yes, to me. Isaiah 41:13. For I am the Lord your God who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Hello, my name is Evangelist Isaac Kotri. Join me on Ultimate Inspiration, 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. Let's pray, let's worship, and let's get ready for the day. God bless you. See you. Amen.
Ultimate FM. Ultimate FM.
Welcome back right here on Ultimate 106.9. And just as I said earlier, we've had an extensive discussion this morning. And, well, before we go, it's all about the Easter party in the park or Sacrum. The only family jamboree is happening this Easter. And it's right here in Kumasi. The party in the park. Abusia FM in conjunction with Ultimate FM in partnership with AQ3 Center presents the Easter party in the park. And so join us on the 21st of April 2025 at AQ Center, Diamond Hills, a few meters from Oshimase Kwadasu Kumasi. And then you're good to go. Join us. We're going to have excitement moments. There's going to be a lot of, swimming, horse riding, a lot of games as well. This Easter, the family, join us. Come, let's enjoy, catch fun, and have some enjoying moments. Hey, don't be left out. It's just 30 Ghana cedis. Easter Monday. Don't be left out. The 21st is what we're talking about. Goldfinger Restaurant. The perfect place, the perfect spot in Kumasi to really give that wonderful girl that big treat. That wonderful dining street is at Golden Finger. Lovely place to host that your business meeting or probably your conference or whatever. Anything about your meetings and your conferences, that is where you're supposed to have it. And then you can also have this and every Saturday, Sundays, your breakfast 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is a perfect way to kickstart your weekend. Enjoy it at Goldfinger Restaurant. Let's lick our fingers. The Goldfinger Restaurant is in to serve you and give you the best when it comes to good meals. We give you luxury, we give you taste, and we give you perfection. From Monday throughout to the weekend, you can get us, locate us. That is Goldfinger Restaurant on the Authority Asiedu Drive in Shaiso, behind the Despite Building. When it comes to good meals, look no further than Goldfinger Restaurant or Sacrum. Are you ready? Let's enjoy. Is the Kumasi Comedy Show Easter Edition. Come this April 20th, 2025, live event center inside Kumasi City. Timor. First show is at 5:30 p.m. and then the second show is at 8:30 p.m. Join us. Let's enjoy. Performing is Mr. Carter and Dan Latte. Enjoy the fun at the Kumasi Comedy Show. Jeffrey Praise Computers this morning is calling. If you need a brand new home use laptop or probably slightly used laptop, new laptops, quality desktop computers that can give you the best, everything about it is all sold at Jeffrey Praise Computers. We also deal in CCTV cameras, quality. If you want to ensure your security. Look, the last time I visited a friend's house and I advised he gets a CCTV camera, and I tell you, when you get there, the CCTV camera he got from Jeffrey Praise, it's quite clear. It gives you correct visuals. And so Jeffrey Praise Computers is the best when it comes to technology. You can locate Jeffrey Praise Computers at Bantama High Street near the GNTC opposite Unity House, or call us on 0244 02203. That is a Jeffrey Praise Computers. They're best when it comes to computers. Provident Insurance. Provident Insurance, it's your number one when it comes to insurance companies. And so Motor Insurance is all about Provident Insurance. Hey, come join us. Let us do business with you. Come do business with us. We can insure your shop for you. That your shop. It's all about Providence Insurance. We are ready to do the insurance quick and fast. All you need is to call our buyer on 0242 426396 and she will sort you out. Everything about Providence Insurance when it comes to your new car, your shop, your house, everything about yourself, your family, your children's education. Then Providence Insurance is in to help you. Walk to any branch here in Kumasi and across the country and sit with them and do business with them. Kuma Rural Bank is calling. Get a loan in less than 24 hours. Yes, a loan in less than 24 hours. I'm sure you'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. How can I get that? Is this really possible? Indeed it is, because it is tried and tested. I have tested it. I am an evidence. I am giving you that assurance that within 24 hours you're good to go within getting a loan within 24 hours. And so let's walk straight to Kumuma Rural Bank within 24 hours. All you need is just your 3 months payslip. Walk to any branch of Kumeu Man Rural Bank and they are in to help you get your loan within 24 hours. The Serial Nano 3 EV is a new car in the market. It's an electric car. All you need is to charge this car and you're good to go. You don't need to buy fuel. It's just charge. You need it. Charge your car and you're good to go. It can go as far as many kilometers and the battery will still be active and strong. It lasts long. So Anointed Engineering Services, the sole marketing company that is really marketing the Serial Nano 3. You can locate Anointed Engineering here in Kumasi, close to the TAT yard here in Kumasi. And in Accra, you can locate them at the Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, close to the Farisco traffic light, close to opposite the Glyco office, or probably call them on 0544340589 or 0243480334. The Serial Nano 3. When it comes to comfort, when it comes to relaxation, it's all about the Serial Nano 3. There's a land up for grabs for sale, a 146-acre land. Together with a bare land you can use to develop any project of your choice. And if you need this 146-acre land located at Dominacy, which is very affordable, Dominacy New Site to be precise, then call 0244-862154, 0241-241-624. PKB Group of Companies, where we sell quality car tires and car batteries. Your car battery is always giving you problems. It is hard time you change. You are always getting problems with your car batteries. Getting up this morning, your problem was to how to start your car. You made your children go through the stress of pushing your car before it could start. It's all about the problem with your battery. And so PKB Group of Companies is here to help you with dealing wholesale and retail. Yes, so wholesalers, retailers, just walk to any PKB group of companies branch here in Kumasi. Our main office is located opposite Tafo Muslim Cemetery, and we've also got other branches at Agloga Junction towards Oforikum Trotro Bus Stop, or probably contact us on 02091700030 or 0501485111. Again, don't forget, we also sell quality car tires of all brands, of all sizes here at PKB Group of Companies. And so when dealing with quality, don't forget PKB Group of Companies. Have you finished your house and you need an assured security for it? Quality Turkish doors, PKB Group of Companies is ready to serve you better and give you the best. Tabia Herbal is my next point of call. We've got Tabia Herbal Mixture, Tabia Zenical Mixture, Tabia Capsules, and Tabia Takum. I tell you, Tabia products are of quality. Are you suffering from malaria, loss of appetite? Are you suffering from piles? Then Tabia product is ready to sort you out and give you that strength you need again, to give you that appetite to enjoy that meals, that fufu that you've been enjoying that you can't enjoy again, that loss of appetite. The only way you can recover everything you've lost is through going for Tabia Herbal products here in Kumasi and across the region in Ghana. You can walk to any pharmaceutical shop or herbal shop and ask for Tabia product, or probably call on 0243686861 or 0245749206. The Heal Confanochi project is still on. Don't be left out. I've told you, no amount is small. Your contribution is welcome. Let's walk to any Fidelity Bank branch and make our quota, make our contribution, or probably start paying through your Momo 0544195525 or dial star 776 star 1955 hash and contribute your quota to help put Confanoche back to its old state. Let's give Confanoche a face uplift, because it is him to serve not just us in the Ashanti region, but everybody in Ghana and even outside Ghana, West Africa at large. Confanoche Teaching Hospital is serving all of us. So your contribution is definitely welcome. Alpha R is all about you, the individual. Let's pray with Alpha R. Pray along. Share the link as well. Elvis Ajiman, this and every Monday to Saturday right here on Ultimate 106.9. Let's pray and do some prayers. Yes, for if there is a man to pray, there is indeed a God to answer. That situation you are going through, you really want to travel. Can't you see there are a lot of spiritual things that are affecting your situation? All you need to do is to go down on your knees in prayer and do some prayers. God is in to help, and God is ready to deal with whatever it is. But all you need to do is to pray. Well, thank you for joining me this morning. It's been a very interactive morning with our discussions, and I'm sure you've enjoyed every bit of this morning's edition of Cup of Tea right here. We've been talking about everything about KMA. What are your expectations? And I'm sure we all are keeping our fingers crossed. We want Kumasi to develop, and so definitely we welcome our new Metropolitan Mayor. Kumasi awaits you. All we need is to ensure that the number of years you'll be given, the time spell you'll be working, let's ensure Kumasi sees that face uplift, that development you've always noted to be known for. It is something you've done before, and I'm sure you can do again. The assurance is there. But with God, everything is possible. Well, I leave you in the hands of a voice by Madam Claudia. Join me same time right here tomorrow on Tuesday. But for now, I'm out of here. Thank you for doing the listening.
Ultimate. I hope you all had a good weekend. Anyway, I think I've got a beef with Ghanaian politicians and the officials. Did I hear the Minister of Lands and Mineral Resources, Emmanuel Kofi Boah, saying Ghana in...
When we say ultimate, we mean U for unlimited music, L for the lovely voices you hear, C for the trending issues we talk about, I for the innovations we provide. We play more music and more music. A of friendliness around, team of skilled on-air persons, and E is for the experience. Ultimate FM, experience it. When we say ultimate, we mean U for unlimited music, L for the lovely voices you hear, C for the trending issues we talk about, I for the innovation.